His punches sound different. They sound like gunshots. So how can a guy so little create such...
You wonder why so many fighters are terrified to face Naoya Inoue? Joe Rogan sums it up best. With an undefeated record of 28 wins and 25 brutal knockouts, Inoue isn't just a boxer, he's a walking warning label, like the ones on cigarette packs. This can kill you. Dubbed the Monster, Inoue doesn't rely on judges. He finishes fights with terrifying efficiency, knocking out 90% of his opponents and putting the rest through a 12-round masterclass in pain. What makes him truly frightening, as Rogan explains, is that he's the total package: speed, power, and surgical technique. While some fighters are quick but lack power, and others hit hard but are slow, Inoue blends it all seamlessly. His punches don't just land, they explode. Dan Canobio, host of Inside Boxing Live, wasn't exaggerating when he said Inoue's shots sound like gunfire.
Prolific body punchers, and now you see the reaction from Doheny.
And who learned that the hard way. Inoue's last opponent, TJ Doheny, a fighter known for his own knockout power with a 76.92% KO ratio, stepped into the ring confident, but quickly discovered that kind of firepower is useless against a storm, like Inoue. Facing the Japanese striking maestro, Doheny was given a brutal lesson in just how fragile the human body really is. Inoue's precision shots, especially to the liver, broke him down piece by piece until Doheny's body had no choice but to surrender. When the liver finally waved the white flag, it was game over. GG, well played.
And still as fast as...
Joe Rogan couldn't stay silent about Inoue's dominance, calling the Japanese phenom the perfect fusion of speed, technique, and raw power. The kind of fighter who can shatter ribs and crack skulls without breaking a sweat.
I favor fighters for different purposes, but if you ask me who I think is the best fighter I've ever seen since I got in the sport,
Naoya Inoue's game plan is like poetry in motion, except his pen is a pair of fists writing pain into every round. One of his most devastating tools is his ability to turn his opponent's aggression against them, using masterful timing and footwork to stay just out of reach before unleashing razor-sharp counterattacks. His footwork is so subtle it's almost invisible, yet its impact is undeniable. He's already slipped away or pivoted by the time his opponent throws, leaving them swinging at air. Inoue's counters aren't just reactions, they're precise. Calculated punishments, with his signature check hook often landing clean as he baits with a jab and pivots just enough to deliver a stinging blow. But it's his bodywork that truly separates him from the rest. Using feints and headshots to lift his opponent's guard, he unleashes brutal liver shots that end fights and careers. His jab cross to the liver combo is surgical, forcing opponents into a painful guessing game. Protect the head or the midsection. Most can't keep up mentally or physically, as TJ Doheny learned the hard way. By the end of their bout, he looked ready to sign over his liver. Inoue's blend of speed, precision, and raw power makes him not just a great fighter, but a nightmare inside the ring. Joe Rogan is just one of many voices praising his brilliance, with analysts and former champions placing him atop the pound-for-pound rankings. Even veteran promoter Todd DeBoeuf admitted that Inoue is the best fighter he's ever seen in the ring, high praise for a once-in-a-generation talent.
Inoue is not only pound for pound the best in the world, Inoue is the best.
But the highest praise for the monster came from none other than Bob Arum, the legendary founder and CEO of Top Rank. According to Arum, Inoue isn't just the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world today, he's the best boxer, period, across every category in the sport's history.
See, no matter what weight category or anything, I have never, ever, in the almost 60 years I've been in boxing, seen anything like it.
Inoue tops them all. Names like Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez, and Alexander Usyk. According to Bob Arum, Inoue doesn't just belong in that elite company, he outshines every single one of them.
He's such an unusual guy. You know what's crazy about him is his calves.
Yeah.
When you look
Massive.
at that, they're giant. They're like a...
When it comes to close-range combat, Naoya Inoue is a chess master in a firefight. While many fighters clinch to slow the action and catch their breath, Inoue stays active, using his forearms and elbows with surgical precision to control his opponent's arms, a technique known as framing. But framing isn't just for control. It creates openings for vicious uppercuts and hooks that often end fights right then and there. Despite fighting at bantamweight, Inoue has mastered the art of loading every ounce of his body weight into his punches. Close your eyes during one of his fights, and you'd swear you were listening to a heavyweight unloading bombs, each shot landing with shocking force that makes opponents question if they stepped into the wrong division. What makes Inoue even more dangerous in the pocket is his seamless transition from defense to offense. He doesn't just block, he parries and counters in one fluid motion, applying relentless pressure without ever leaving himself exposed. Unlike fighters who rely on flashy head movement or retreating to safety, Inoue's defense is built on subtle, calculated shifts, tiny positional adjustments that let him dodge punches while staying balanced and ready to strike. These micro-movements allow him to remain in his deadliest range without giving his opponent room to breathe. His tactics are no accident. They're embedded into his training with advanced techniques like framing, which not only disrupts an opponent's posture, but leaves them vulnerable to crushing close-range attacks. He also manipulates guards with precise bumps, knocking defenses aside to create clean, brutal openings. These seemingly small actions are what turn elite opponents into sitting ducks. It's no wonder so many walk away from the fight wondering how they ever let him get that close. And back to Joe Rogan, someone who's seen every kind of fighter since the 90s. He's already calling Inoue a living legend. Rogan has repeatedly praised not just Inoue's skill, but his physique, discipline, and total dominance inside the ring.
Hey, look up this young fighter called the Monster. You ever hear Monster?
No.
Japanese fighter called Monster. This is a Monster.
Crazy dude.
Yeah, let's check him out, man. Ikuki, what's his name?
This guy, Naoya.
Yeah, let's look at some of his fight. He's a mean.
Joe Rogan isn't the only one taking notice. Naoya Inoue has earned praise from some of the biggest legends in combat sports. And when we say legends, we're talking about none other than Iron Mike Tyson himself. Tyson didn't mince words, calling Inoue a mean fella. Coming from a man who redefined what it means to be a fearsome knockout artist, that's no small compliment.
He's better than Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao was doing like that. Just as good.
But Tyson didn't stop there. In a jaw-dropping statement, he went as far as to say that Naoya Inoue is better than Manny Pacquiao. Yes, you heard that right, better than the 8-division world champion and one of boxing's all-time greats. Tyson has never made a claim like that about any other fighter, which shows just how highly he regards the monster.